This Arukh Shulchan Yerideh Siman Lamed Zayin Sif Mem Test Gimel. The supplemental day 248. The Arukh Shulchan Yomi cycle. Kind of like a new issue here. Mem Test. What's on Nevar Mine Tartar Reis Shekos V'Gdol Achronim. I thought we finished that there, so evidently not. I'll tell you about the double whammies that the Gdol Achronim write. I guess we're going to a list. Bur al Yaseres B'Dare de Une, a bubble on an extra lobe in the array, in the proper array of the unos. Have a tatareya, so it is a tatareya, so that's Fushon Prima God. Yeshim, some say love it, tatareya, so some say no, it's not a double whammy, because it says Dare ain't a real a cloud. The fact that it's extra lobe, if it's in the proper array with the other lobes, it's not a reya, so it's not a flaw. It's the Wushay Sot. Chem Besircho, Mara Kshera. So too, if you have an adhesion or a discoloration, which is kosher under other circumstances. So Shari is a different flaw al Yiseres on the extra lobe. Toy Pluktazu has to do with this question. It's machlekes. Miu b'sircha shloka sidron. However, if there's a sircha, an adhesion going from lobe to lobe, and it's not in the proper order, Yiseres bedare, and it's on the an extra lobe in the array of lobes. Lomhani miuch. Doesn't help to remove it and then check it. That's simcha chadasha. V'gam zeu dafka sheshnei unos lasuchim shel kasidron zel lezeh. And Messiah is only when the two lobes, which are entangled with each other, are not in order. I'm sorry, these two unos, which are adhering to each other and not in order, are extra ones. It says mikama. Have a reusa, but an extra lobe in the front, in a place where we say it's kosher, it is a reusa. It's one flaw. And any reusa which is on top of it, makes a double whammy. Besides the dangling adhesion, or if you have a adhesion which clings from place to place, bioceres, and the extra lobe, I guess, on the lobe itself, and it can be removed by manipulating it, by crushing it. Then it can be machshir. It's tzamka miktas una bioceres. If part of the additional lobe has shriveled, ain't it tatareya, so it's not tatareya. So it's simuk bereya by receiving the issue of a shriveled lung will be clarified much later. Gimnun, Gavshushis, if you have a mound, a hillock, Migaba, on the top of the lung, Kitziporen Agoido, the size of the thumbnail. However, so that's a flaw. Upachas Mizev, then that's that, anyway, so it's not a flaw. Makama in the front of the lung, Bechonyan, anyway, so it's not a rayus, so no matter what. Upitza Migaba, if you have something with a split off on the back, Limakareya, so it's not called rayus. I feel pizza Katsa Melguma, even if the split up is shorter than the hole, I guess, from which it emerges. Shemashim has Ruach, Moshkosav, and see the Simon Lamed Hay, which you say is kosher, Rafs and Ruba, like you said in Simon Lamed Hay, Sif Tes. Upitzu Mikama, in Palchas Mitziporin, if you have a split off in the front, less than the Tziporin go less than the size of a thumbnail. Shemashim has Ruba, which we say it's kosher, perhaps in Ruah have a reya, so that is a flaw. Meaning chalif yesh yesh machinik much kosav nisham, different types of changes, which we that some people are machshir. Lo have a reya, so it's not a reya. So have a shnei vardos machshir, but if you have two vardos in a place where we say it's kosher, it have a reya, so it is a flaw. Shnei vardos shosh echad, two vardos come out with one root. Afilu machas mein afuchak. If one of them is reversed, ukshera, and it's kosher, which is varasham, in the manner which is described there in Sif Lam above. Lo have a reya, so it's not a reya. But a reya acheres or menes al hafucha. Even the second reya, the second floor, is top of the over the backwards varda. The kisa varda, so that if you have a flaw in the pocket of the varda, any type of tataresa doesn't make a tataresa. V'shtei vardos, if you have two vardos, b'shorish echad, coming out of one root, and they adhere to each other. Some say that it works to crush the sircha. Some say it doesn't work. So b'shei schot. V'yima varda g'doyla k'una achas. If the The varda is large like a lobe. Low kagdola, but not like the large lobe. Shematirim behav simura. When we say it's okay, behav simura. Dealing in tatareso kadini seres mikama has the same status in terms of tatareso, like an extra lobe in the front. Chaim chasim mixes of a part of var is missing. Venim says and you find the missing piece, biyamino but small, on the right, on the left, shulchan rusham. Yeshla is a reyosa if it has a reyosa on it. Dinika says mikama, it has the status of a yoseris, an extra lobe in the front. Simcha chadasha. A lot of these details, which obviously a shochet and boydek has to be familiar with, which makes the job very, very impressive. Nun av krum el yon shel rea, the upper membrane of the lung, shenikev, which got a hole, or nigav so is partially peeled, rub or its majority, or kula or all of it. Have a rea, so that's a flaw. It's time for that old rea, so if there's an additional flaw, such as a bubble, or sircha, or a adhesion, etc. Have a title, so it's a double flaw, double whammy. The vabua b'mayim zakim is except for a bubble with clear water, clear water. Malcolm Shashin Tate Bu this Micha B'Mayim Zakim, a place where they declare kosher, consider kosher two bubbles that are adjacent if they have clear water. Ain't a reyusa, it's not a reyusa kshamedes on niglad when it's on the peeled part. Shlo niglad rubo, as long as the majority is not peeled. O nikev or elyon, or only the upper membrane is pierced. If you have a dangling adhesion, or it's going from lobe to lobe, less than halfway up the lobe, if it's a little bit peeled, you can be machshir. Amliga rubo, when the majority is peeled off, or kula, or the entirety, treifa, it's treif, that's the boucher schot. If there's a puncture in the pocket of the varda, lo have a reya, so that's not a reya. If you have an adhesion going from the pocket of the varda l'reya to the lung, mahani miyuch, you can crush it. V'kosh keos from lushis rod, kosh ke levarda atzma mahani miyuch. Certainly, if the adhesion goes to the varda itself, so then you can crush it to check it out. Nun base. Nishbar hakrum idation of chul yeshim dai. If the membrane breaks because they inflated the lung over much, so that's a flaw. The nishbar or the samachlo, the place where it broke or adjacent there too. Yesh is a reis, so there's some flaw. Havi title so it's a double whammy. V'daf ksheru so law of rabbi fichazu. Simply when the flaw does not pass through this inflation. Shenikra krum chamasa, rather the membrane ripped on its account. Also, specifically if the two membranes were broken. And nishbar krum echad, if only one membrane is broken, lo avereis, it's not a reisa. But nekeb b'makom the shamash yod the tabach, if you have a hole in the place where the shamash manipulates the tabach, the butcher manipulates the lung. Okshetolin. Or where we can assume Bekelev that a dog made the hole, lo so it's not a so zulas, unless there's some ray of flaw there which requires checking. And the checking is an impediment that's required. Treifa, then it's treif share income, but you can't check anything because you have a hole. True, that hole came about by, so to speak, innocent circumstances, but a hole is a hole. It prevents a check. Nun gimel nikve hamurna. If you have holes by worms, yesh loy malaria. If there are enough worms on the lung, you smart a covering. As there are holes, no have a reyoso. It's not a reyoso. Being live, if not, more holes than worms. Have a reyoso. Those require that each worm should be partially in the hole. Part of it out of the hole. It's not true. If you have a lung which pours like a water in a pitcher, or if you have a lung where part of it is empty, it's not a reis. However, if it's missing more than revius, even those who it's kosher, come have a reis, so it's a flaw to make a double whammy. We'll get to bubble with a worm in Sif Nun Vav. Hashem will be tomorrow because that brings us to the end for today.